So if you're a leader in any business right now, you've got this huge question staring you down. What do we do about AI? Do we try to build something ourselves from scratch, or do we just buy a solution that's already out there? It sounds simple, but it's not. And picking the wrong path, well, that can turn into a very, very expensive mistake. And this really captures the situation perfectly, doesn't it? There's no single right answer. We've seen massive, game-changing successes, and we've seen spectacular failures on both sides of this divide. So the key isn't just to pick a path. It's to make a deliberate, strategic choice, knowing exactly why you're making it. And that is the billion-dollar question, right? That's what we're going to tackle. I'm going to walk you through a framework that helps you move past the guesswork and make a decision you can actually stand behind. Now, this is really the core of the whole problem. Your standard way of buying technology, that old IT playbook, it just doesn't work here. See, with traditional software, you put something in, you know exactly what you're going to get out. It's predictable. But AI, well, AI is a whole different beast. It's dynamic, it's constantly learning, and its behavior is probabilistic, not fixed. And that one fundamental shift changes everything. There was a report from Menlo Ventures that found a massive 76%, three-quarters, of AI use cases are actually purchased from vendors, not built in-house. So that tells you where the wind is blowing. And here's the kicker. Is everybody buying because it's truly the best strategic move? Or is it just because, it seems like the easier, faster thing to do? Let's actually break down the logic for each side, starting with the case for buying. All right, so buying an AI tool is often sold as the fast track. And for good reason. You're plugging into a product that already exists, it's been battle-tested, and there's a whole company behind it keeping the lights on. And the advantages are pretty compelling, you have to admit. Instead of a project that could drag on for 2 years, you could be up and running in a matter of weeks. Your finance department is going to love the predictable monthly subscription fee instead of a giant, risky upfront investment. And maybe best of all, you don't have to worry about managing all the complex hardware or hiring a team of super expensive engineers just to keep it running. The vendor handles all that. This is really the sweet spot for buying. If you're solving a problem that lots of companies have, like an internal help desk or summarizing long documents or a better search for your internet, a pre-built solution is almost always the smart move. These tools make you more efficient, but let's be honest, they're not designed to be your unique secret weapon in the market. So what about the other path? When does it make sense to build? Well, building your own AI is the road you take when good enough just isn't good enough. This is all about creating a real, long-term competitive advantage that nobody else can just go out and buy. When you build, you are creating a genuine asset, your secret sauce that your competitors can't replicate. It's built from the ground up to fit your unique data and your specific workflows. You own all of it, the intellectual property, the models, everything. And while, yeah, the upfront cost is way higher, the potential return on that investment down the line can be absolutely massive. Just look at a company like Bloomberg. They built their own massive language model, not as a science project, but because they had decades of one-of-a-kind financial data that nobody else on Earth could get their hands on. That's a true advantage. Or think about Walmart. Their supply chain is so incredibly complex and operates at such a mind-boggling scale that no generic tool could possibly handle it. For them, building wasn't just a choice, it was a flat-out necessity. Okay, so building sounds pretty powerful, right? But this is where we have to get really, really honest about the risks, because the biggest dangers here aren't the ones you see on the initial budget. Get ready for this number, because it is an absolute gut punch. An MIT report found that a staggering 95% of in-house AI initiatives fail to ever make it into production. Let that sink in for a second. That means nearly every custom AI project that companies pour millions of dollars and tons of talent into just dies on the vine. It never sees the light of day. And this iceberg metaphor, it's the perfect way to understand why. The part you see, the part you budget for, the actual coding and development, that's just the tip. The real danger, the part that sinks all those projects, is everything lurking just below the surface. This is that hidden, brutal reality. You think you're just building an application, but you're actually signing up to run a full-blown AI operations department. All of a sudden, you're managing complex infrastructure, you're dealing with security and compliance, you're constantly having to retrain models, and you're in a death match to keep your top talent from leaving. And while you're drowning in all of that, your competitors who chose to buy are already live and gobbling up market share. So this chart really lays out the core trade-offs nice and clean. Building is a high-risk, high-reward bet on creating a true competitive advantage. Buying is a low-risk, super fast path to getting a standard function up and running, but it's never going to make you unique, and you're always going to be dependent on that vendor. Okay, so if both paths have these pretty significant risks, is there a third way? A better way? Well, more and more, the answer is yes. The smartest companies are realizing this isn't a strict either-or choice anymore. And that brings us to the hybrid model. This is all about getting the best of both worlds. The idea is you buy a foundational platform to do all the heavy lifting, the boring stuff like infrastructure, security, and basic integrations, and then you build your unique secret sauce right on top of it. Honestly, this approach is incredibly strategic. It stops you from reinventing the wheel. So instead of your best, most expensive engineers messing around with servers, they're focused on building the killer features that are actually going to win you customers. You get the speed of buying with the powerful differentiation of building. So, how do you actually figure out which path is right for your company? Well, it all comes down to a clear-eyed, systematic evaluation. No guesswork. The right answer for you is out there. And finding it isn't about gazing into a crystal ball. It's about having a really honest conversation with your team and asking a few very pointed questions. So let's run through these 4 key questions. First, what is the strategic value? Is this AI tool going to be your secret weapon, something that makes you stand out? Or is it more about making things run smoother? If it's just efficiency, that's a huge point for buying. Second, do you have a data advantage? Is your data something truly unique that no one else has? If yes, that's a strong case for building. Third, and be honest here, what is your real technical capacity? Can you truly support that entire iceberg of hidden costs long-term? And finally, fourth, how critical is your time to market? If speed is everything, that's going to push you hard toward buying or at least a hybrid approach. And we're going to end on this final, really powerful question, because an honest answer to this might just be the most important part of this whole thing. A successful AI strategy has to be grounded in the reality of your team, your resources, and your priorities today, not some idealized fantasy of what you hope to be. If you choose with clarity, you will choose with confidence.